What are you doing today, bud? I don't know, hanging out. You're hanging out? Well, we go around this house a little bit. Okay. So we're over here, and we're going counterclockwise. And I try to go counterclockwise on my reports. I try to go counterclockwise on my videos. Now, the pictures, okay, they just they're at the end of each section, and they're hodgepodge. I apologize. I wish I could be more butt retentive about that. But here we are, and we've got that's a cornice right there, and it looks like it's been painted a little bit. We come up here, we got some soffit vents. Okay, we notice there's some soffit vents up here, and the soffit vents are kind of dirty, and that is a symptom of improper attic ventilation. So we'll learn more about this. Now, this window is called fixed. Okay, it means you can't open it or anything. These windows are articulate. These are sliding sash windows. They're vinyl frame double pane windows, and none of our windows have window screens. Probably lets the light in, lets the house show better. I get that. So we're coming along, and we learned that we've got a post-tension slab foundation. Look at that. That's pretty good. Okay. These cables, after the concrete is placed, the cables are wrenched up thousands of pounds, and it also makes kind of an arch in there, kind of like a bridge, like a Greek arch. Anyway, the combination of effects makes for a much stronger foundation than if it was just rebar. Another thing that we've got around here, going around our foundation perimeter, is a parge coat. It's like a cake frosting. And a cake frosting, okay, just because the cake frosting is cracked doesn't mean the cake is cracked. So if you got a crack in your parge coating, that does not necessarily mean that you've got a crack in your foundation. And just because you don't have a crack in your parge coating does not necessarily mean that you don't have a crack in your foundation. It's just an mistake. Now we're doing a wood destroying insect inspection. So what does that mean? Well, it means that now I have to call this conducive, okay, because the parge coat and the foundation move at different materials, and they react to the environment differently, gradually but differently. So voids are created between the parge coat and the foundation perimeter, and termites, being blind but knowing what they're doing, because they do know what they're doing, they've been around for millions and millions of years, they know where these voids are. Termites can take advantage of a parge coat to enter your structure. So on your inspection report, on your wood destroying insect inspection report, I'm going to call that conducive by design. Okay, we've got a whole video. In fact, we got two. This condensing unit is not level. They're 410A. They're about 8 years old. Okay, we're coming on along. We do not have any window screens at all. Okay, moving on along. This is the piping for our water heater. There used to be 2 water heaters here. Now there's 1. Okay, we're going to have a whole different discussion about that. But for the safety pan, this is supposed to be no farther from the ground than 24 inches. So we're doing pretty good with the safety pan. For the pressure, because it's a tankless water heater, for the pressure relief valve, okay, it's not supposed to be farther from the ground than 6 inches, because it comes out at 200 psi. Alright, it's not supposed to be farther from the ground than 6 inches. Not supposed to be closer to the ground than 3 inches. That doesn't apply to us. This is another one of our tension cables, and we're still missing some screens. Now we come over here a little bit, and we'll notice, okay, 2, and I'm noticing some more, but we've got some discoloration between our planes. Unless I can wipe that off. Can I wipe that off? Oh, I can't wipe that off. Why can't I wipe that off? It's on the other side. Our seals have been compromised on several of our windows. These windows appear to be original to the structure. So what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? It's ugly. The seal's broken. The Texas Real Estate Commission considers that a deficiency. Okay, they consider that broken. The seal's broken. That's what it means. Do you lose any efficiency? Some home inspectors argue that you lose a nano something of a pica whatever. No, it will never reflect on your bill. Okay? Now, it certainly doesn't affect your security, and because the seal's broken doesn't make that window any easier. So it has nothing to do with energy. It has nothing to do with security. It's ugly. It's ugly, and the Texas Real Estate Commission says that it's deficient. And I agree with them. Now I'm talking about the parge coat, I'm talking about the foundation. Well, let's talk about the brick here a little bit. This brick is a very good building material. This house can burn down and you can reuse the brick. All right? So, but it's a very good insulator. But brick is porous and water really shoots right through it. I've got pictures from the back side. It does. It shoots right through it. So what we got here is we've got these devices called weep holes. There's a weep hole right there. Most of the time you won't see anything. It's just going to be water vapor coming out. If you have an event, I've seen a couple of events, I hope you don't, but should you have an event, water will come out of these. It's designed to do that. We want weep holes, okay? I got some other weep holes to show you, but not yet. Not yet. I'm going to show you, this is a control joint. You're not going to have this much brick wall in North Texas and not have some movement. Just like the control joints in the street out there. You see those control joints? Okay, that's supposed to take the deflection and help the building move a little bit. Every couple years, we're supposed to come over here and just check it out, see what it's like, see what's going on. I'm not seeing a lot going on with these weep holes. You could probably leave them alone, but they are not young. They are not spring chickens. They're all dried and stiff. They're shrinking, pulling away from the brickwork. It would be a good idea as a preventative maintenance. It'd be a good idea to clean these control joints out and apply some new sealant. But not critical, not broken. Okay, it's just the way it works. Okay, our rain gutters discharge water directly underneath the ground. That's a good thing. I like that. In fact, I recommend it a lot of times. But right over here, you see this corner? A lot of home inspectors call these corner pops. Corner pops, corner pops. These are shrinkage cracks. If it's in the span of a hand, going this way has nothing to do with the foundation. That's not a foundation issue. Now, if it pops out, okay, it's supporting the brickwork. We have a wood structure. This is brick cladding. Without that corner there, you could lose a couple bricks. You might want to seal it up. So that's what that's about. But that's not all what it's about, because again, the Texas Department of Agriculture, Texas Structural Pest Control Board, they say that I've got to call that conducive to wood destroying insects, to termites, because termites can take that crack, those blind termites, and work their way right on up in there and work their way into the house. So that's going to be conducive. That's going to make the report. But that is not a foundation. I am going to look at the foundation. I'm going to look at the foundation hard. We're going to study the foundation. But that does not, if you will, count against, my opinion about the foundation performance. This does. A tree shouldn't be any closer than 25 feet to a slab foundation. These roots will grow underneath the house and rob it from moisture that the foundation needs, because this is a slab foundation. We need even, consistent moisture around. See where all that erosion is over there, all the dirt settled and stuff? No, we need a good, steady, hydrostatic pressure around the perimeter of the foundation to keep your foundation here so you don't have to change addresses. Okay? So these trees, and not only that, when these trees grow out next to a sidewalk, I know you've seen it before, these trees will move your foundation. And then, these trees aren't through. It says it's the trifecta. These branches can wreck your roof, or wood trim and things like that. So a tree shouldn't be so close. Are you going to move it? Probably not. Could I move mine? My wife wouldn't let me move mine. But am I here to tell you about it? I am getting paid to tell you about it. So yeah, coming over here, these bushes are too close to the house. Some of that has to do with termites. Some of it has to do with carpenter ants. They can use those little bridges, come over to your house. So there's several conducive conditions, insects that bushes touching your structure are conducive to. Where do termites live? In the ground. Well, they eat dead wood. What's wood mulch? Dead wood in the ground next to your house. Okay, that's called a clue. Call me in a few years and say, hey, bud, man, well, you know what we found? We found termites in our house. I'm going to say, in the wood mulch next to your house? And you go like, yeah, underneath those bushes? Uh-huh. That's good. Okay, I get it. And about, it's been a couple years, but it's not unusual for me to find once or twice a year to just go and rake the mulch like I just did and find termites hanging out in there. It happens. It's happened before. So we're going to roll on around. Now, see these electric receptacle outlets right here? These electrical receptacle outlets are supposed to have in-use covers. See how we have our camera? Hello! We got our camera up there. Check me out! Okay, well, if it rains, water can get in there. We're supposed to have in-use covers. They kind of look like helmets, these little bubble covers. And so the whole cover, closes over that, and that way the water can't get in, and you can keep your camera plugged in. That's what we can do. And this is our doorbell, and this is our door, our front door. Our gasket's torn here, and torn here, and it's torn just a little bit right there. Okay, now this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I was getting to. This is another thing was what I was getting to. Okay, weep holes. Now, what holds the brick up? Well, this is like a Greek arch. See the way that's turned? So we don't have weep holes over there. The water just goes. I don't know. I don't make the rules. But over here, where it's nice and straight, we've installed metal lintels. And those metal lintels support the brick. And when the metal lintels are supporting the brick like they are, they have disrupted the drainage plane. See, we have weep holes down here because that's where the drainage plane ends and the moisture comes out. But we've disrupted the drainage plane. So now we've installed lintels here to hold up our brick, and on our lintels, we're supposed to have more weep holes. And we do. And we do. And we come over here, this is a nice little window. It's a double pane, remember? And look at the gasket in there. See how that gasket's humping up and stuff? Okay. These windows have a vacuum in there. And the vacuum is pulling the seal out. And when the seal gets pulled out, it becomes compromised. And then it lets air in. And then you got a busted seal. You got a busted seal. This. Okay. Same rule. Second verse, same as the first. Moving on along. Yeah. Because we're movers. We're mobbing and a-grobbing. So we're coming on along over here. We got some more bushes. We got some more. You can come on out. I'll film you. All these people are bashful. Film bashful. We got a whole video about our plumbing over here, and we got some issues, I think, with plumbing. Tree too close, wood mulch too close to the house, bushes around here. No screens. But I've already mentioned that. You know what I'm not seeing very much? I'm going to find some, but I'm not seeing very much movement. I'm not seeing very much cracking between the brick and the mortar. See how these bricks come out right here? Okay, these are called dog's tooth bricks, okay? Some people call them stretcher bricks. And so right here along this stretcher brick section, this dog's tooth stretcher, I'm seeing a little bit of mortar cracking, and crack even went through the brick right there. And went through the brick right there, went through the brick right there. Just a little bit of cracking right there. Is that horrendous? No, it's not horrendous. Pretty much typical. Yeah, it's kind of what we expect. You know, we should expect some small cracks. This is inside and outside. Some small cracks. We shouldn't expect a lot of cracks, and we shouldn't expect big cracks. I'm not yesing off the cracks, but those cracks, they don't, so far they don't mean so much. But we're going to keep counting. We're going to keep counting them. I'm going to come on around over here. This is where we're going to take our water pressure. And this is not a retaining wall. This is a raised bed. Okay? So this could fall down and it's not going to affect your foundation. It has no immediate effect on your foundation. So it's beyond the scope of the inspection and so forth. There's no geogrid underneath here. There's no tiebacks. There's nothing stabilizing these. These bricks are just stacked up. Okay. We got erosion all along here. The house faces south. We are on the east wall. We've got erosion all along the east wall. We got another clean out over here. One of our lawn sprinkler valve caps is missing. So can somebody step in there? Yeah. What's going to happen if you step in there? I don't know. Break your ankle? I don't know. So there's that. Now the weed whackers have been coming through here. I don't know why. We don't have any grass. Okay. But we got a little bit of damage right there on our transition boot. Yeah, we do. We're going to move on along because we're movers. We're mobbing and grobbing. Okay. There we go. We got some separation right here in the casement. Separation of the casement and the brickwork on our kickout are right here on the east side of the house. Let me write that down. Okay. I didn't have that in the other one. So this is my method. Okay, we got some separation between the vertical trim board and the brickwork on the south side of the east wall kickout. Yeah, we do. And there's another one of those control joints is what I'm talking about. And kind of rolling on over here. What else we got? We got some separation over here? No, we don't. No wonder I missed it. This is a good example, though. This is what I want to show you a little bit. See the rain gutter up there? See that inch difference between the cornice and the rain gutter? That's the way it's supposed to be done. That's the way it's done, man. Okay? We'll circle back to that statement. Okay? Rolling back here. Does our spring work? No, our spring has been adjusted out. Our spring should be self-closing. Okay? And it's good that it swings out. Our fence, on the other hand, is installed backwards. So these rails can be used as a ladder so youngsters can scale your fence and come float in your pool. Last thing you want to do is come home and find a floater. Okay, this step going to the apron in here is higher than 7 3/4 inches. Come on, Grampy, you can get up there. We've got a little bit of cracking right in here. Okay, I've already noted that. Moving on along. Our pool apron. We're going to have a whole video for the swimming pool. Maybe 2 videos for the swimming pool. Maybe more. Okay, moving on along. How's things looking? Things are looking pretty good. Things are looking pretty good. Now we got our patio cover. We got a whole video for that. Some of our drip edge over here, and we got some staining right in there. We've got our posts are in direct contact with the ground. They shouldn't be. We cannot ascertain whether we've got the proper ledger board bolts over here. Obviously, this is this board underneath here. Okay, that is a reaction. Okay, it probably wasn't there since it doesn't match anything, and since I see all the water over there, well, it's probably a reaction. Okay, so they say, hey man, we got some water problems. It's falling on our TV. I don't know exactly what the story is. So we're moving on along. And you know what I'm looking for on our porches and stuff, and I haven't seen yet, since we are talking about wood destroying insects. But I was kind of looking for some drill holes. Still haven't found any. Moving on around. This is the door to the garage, pedestrian door. Hey, it's open too. Hello. Okay, coming on along. We got a gas port. We're missing. This used to have an in-use cover, and our in-use cover is missing here. How about that? And then our gas port coming out. That should be painted to keep it from rusting. And you know what? This grill, that's nice. I'd probably use it. That'd be me. I'd be out here grilling like crazy. I'm a pit master, man. But you want to check with the manufacturer to see if it's rated to cook underneath this see, this is plastic up here. Okay? Is this grill rated to burn this close to your plastic cover? This is something to think about. Tree too close. Tree too close. Wood mulch next to the ground again. Okay, this is a control for your low voltage pool lights right there. And moving on along, again, we're going to have a video about that. This gate, okay, I like this, swings out. Check that out. But it's not adjusted, okay? It needs to be adjusted so that it swings closed on its own accord. It kind of does if you kind of stretch it a little bit, but it needs to be tightened up. And then these posts right here, okay, people can cut on the, you know, that's a tetanus shot right there. They make caps for these. They make caps for these. So we're going to roll on around, and this is real good around a garage entry. Usually you see a lot of movement over here, but I'm not seeing any today. Seeing some parge coat. There's one of those shrinkage cracks on the corner. Okay, and we've got a whole garage video about this, and electric load center, which by the way, I just want to check this while I'm here. She says that she moved the board. How about that? And look at our wall. Look at all that beat up wall underneath there. Now we know why the board was there. Ha ha ha. She even moved the shelves. Oh my goodness. I can scare a realtor, I guess. I'm sorry. But it happens. It happens. I'm a scary little man. I'm gonna roll over here. Gas piping coming into the house should be painted to keep it from corroding. We got a whole video about the swimming pool coming up, remember? Okay, these paving stones, they're not dimensionally uniform. So if you've got somebody over here who's challenged, you know, like an aging home inspector or something, and he's trying to do this, you know, so he can prove he doesn't have Parkinson's and stuff. But yeah, they're convenient and they're water and stuff, but you know, it's beyond the scope of the inspection anyway. And again, swimming pool ought to be addressed. It's loud though. And then there's the deck. Okay, this deck is rotting, and this deck is a termite nest. Okay, it doesn't have a good ventilation. It's rotting wood. It's next to the ground. A clothes dryer vent. Okay, not a clothes dryer. Oven vent, closed dryer vent. No, closed dryer vent. Okay, yeah, it's stuck open. It's stuck open. Hello! Hello! Now this storage over here.